Hey, it's Mike with Junk Rock. I'm here with this beautiful Gretsch Gladstone snare drum in original white marine pearl. A good friend of mine wants to buy this drum and it would be perfect for him. And he's an enthusiast for Gretsch Gladstone and the Lang Gladstones and all the different innovations of Billy Gladstone. But this is a two-way drum. And when I got this drum, I got it here in Pennsylvania. It had a throw-off. The throw-off itself was not functioning very well. I have some videos of me playing it where I would be playing and all of a sudden this would pop off. Now, I had to replace this with period correct. I actually had an original Gretsch Gladstone throw-off. So I had extra parts, oddly enough, because it's really hard to find these parts. They're just nowhere to be found. And I ended up finding period correct Gretsch Gladstone arm that worked better against this hoop. So this doesn't bend as far. The other one bent so far that it would just kind of stick out and it would kind of bend and touch the rim and would stick out. So basically we wanted to just pop off at any time. So I replaced this and made this more functional. So it doesn't pop off like it used to, but these are notorious for when you're playing and doing rim shots and playing that they could just pop the throw off, the snares off and disengaged. This doesn't have that issue anymore. So a three-way drum would normally have a spot where there'd be a three-way key that affixed on the drum. This does not have that. So I have actually three different versions of a three-way key here in my hands. And these are actually, I have to say, these are the Lang Gladstone version of the three-way key. This one has like longer three keys. It would actually sit on a threaded rod that stuck out on the drum. Now this one in my hand, is like longer keys on each end, but the standard size of a Gladstone key had smaller keys on each end. So you can see maybe the difference. And I happen to have one of these pre-chromed. So you can see the brass and you can see that it's actually the unfinished metal is rusting on each key. And what I can try to show you, I don't know if it could pick up on this camera, you have this side which is square, just like a standard drum key you would know, and it would fit on the very top, just the top part. You have this part which is really good for just a hex, so you can see the thicker part of the tension rod would work for the hex. And then you have this part that's both. And many people, Steve Maxwell, a good friend of mine, has also shared this information and does great tutorials on it online. And you can actually see in the center of this, there's a square as well as the ridges for the hex, both at the same time. And on a three-way drum, if I were to turn this, the top and the bottom would turn simultaneously. And it was also reverse threaded on the bottom. Reverse threaded means if I'm turning this one tight, that one is going in the same direction and it's tightening upward. So it's pretty ingenious at the time. Antiquated now though. So anyway, I have these different versions of three-way keys, and sometimes even with this two-way drum, I like to use a three-way key just to get the vibe, because, you know, you're doing a Gladstone drum, a Gretsch Gladstone drum, or something with his design. I love to have in hand the same tool he would use. But I have to say, I have owned 4 Gretsch Gladstone snare drums, and 3 of those drums are two-way drums, and one of them is a three-way drum. The problem is, even with that one three-way drum and all the Gretsch Gladstones I've owned, I've never owned a Gretsch Gladstone key. And when you see their key, the Gretsch Gladstone, it's still three-pointed like this, has 3 sides, but it has these different ridges and a different design to it, and a little bit, like a little indentation here. It has like more design to it and layers, just like these lug casings do. These lug casings have all these different stripes and kind of an Art Deco kind of industrial vibe at the time. And the Gretsch Gladstone key has that too. These Lang Gladstone and original Gladstone keys were just pretty much smooth. And the original Gladstone keys, which I actually own some, actually have his name inscribed on here, Billy Gladstone. So pretty awesome. So I'm gonna use my Lang Gladstone. I'm gonna do the double Gladstone key. Change of the head because I'm impatient. There you have it, the double key. Okay, I've got the tension rods off, and I'm just gonna take the head off. And what I like to do is actually keep the rods assigned to the same lug each time, because sometimes things are just a little off with maybe the hoop or sometimes with, you know, each tension rod or each lug. Whether it's the threading or anything, I like to put tension rods back where they were, especially with older drums. I don't know if it says Drum Shop Portland. It says Drum Something Portland. So this had lived at some point at a drum shop in Portland. And you can see the clear interior, maple inside, pretty incredible. And just look at that. Very cool. Okay, so you can see no added holes, all original. You can see that the interior screws are a little bit rusty. You can hear my voice buzzing on the snares. One thing is that the grommet doesn't seem to have the teeth on the inside. Correct badge, everything seems to be right. I can see that it's a 3-ply shell. This is one of those proprietary Gretsch shells where they made their own Gretsch shells in Brooklyn, and you can see this incredible scarf joint. It pretty much laps over itself and has that really cool kind of look to it, that design. And it's maple, poplar, maple, I believe. So you see that darker wood in the center is a softwood, and maple is known as a hardwood. And that is just sort of the classic formula. The previous owner had an Aquarian texture-coated drum head on here, which I'm fine with. And you can tell that it spins just fine. So this drum doesn't show any sign of being out of round. And for its age, being a drum from likely the 40s, that's pretty incredible. I'm gonna put the hoop and the head back on. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you have any questions, and I love sharing this drum with you.